Hi, my name is Jen Delaney, and I'm a counselor in Boulder, Colorado. And today I wanted to talk about being conflict avoidant. When we feel under fire in a sweaty conversation, when we're asking for what we need, when we're drawing a boundary, the tendency is to want to run, to ignore the topic, to in some way get out of it. And we have a survival default network that's very efficient. It wants to eliminate the problem. It might want to cut a relationship off and sabotage it, or it might want to just leave a room before you really resolved something. So ideally, we're wanting to improve our relationships. We're wanting to do some repair. We're wanting to ask for what we need. But that can be so hard, especially if we've had complex trauma. Again, because we feel very triggered, we kind of want to run, ignore, or fight, or do these various ways in order to survive. So I've taken some notes. I integrate parts with brain spotting, and they're these little parts inside of us that are very real. They have a separate consciousness and history, and they don't realize that you're an adult now and you're taking care of them. So they're still locked in some memories from the past. So they're very scared, and then they're the ones who kind of initiate these ways of running away or fighting back or fawning or freezing up. So I have some questions for you. Do you prioritize the needs and feelings of others before your own? Have you learned to tolerate the unhealthy behavior of people who completely ignore your boundaries? Do you get angry at yourself for tolerating unhealthy behavior from others? Are you surrounded by people who don't value your time and needs? So if you answered yes to any of these, blaming is a dead end. It really doesn't help. The key is to be really curious, because you probably saw this way of being modeled. You haven't learned how to do healthy communication and have what we call sweaty conversations with others in order to get to a place of negotiating a healthier relationship. So you might avoid these if you learned that it was not okay to advocate for yourself. Maybe people in the past shut you down, so you tend to doubt yourself. Your fear or terror overwhelms you. Again, that little part of you takes over, and you don't even feel like yourself or an adult again. All you saw modeled was louder, more forceful wins. No one wins in these situations, when we're not handling them with healthy skills. So maybe you're a people pleaser. You don't want to disappoint. So I was reading a blog recently by Jennifer Freed, PhD, and she gave some scripted ways of asking. So listen to these and see how you feel about them. I need a timeout because I am so hurt. I do want to connect with you again with a trusted professional who can help us communicate in a healthy manner to address these ongoing impasses. Please give me space to work through my part of the hurt, and I will get back to you when I'm able to work things out. So that's about asking for a healthy pause when things are getting activated and escalated. When you are sober, please contact me. I love you, and I just need space right now because our interactions have been too painful. I can only see you under these particular circumstances because I need to feel safe. So some relationships, rarely can you not really work through an issue in a relationship, but some people, because of their complex trauma and their early childhood wounding, have developed certain personality phenomena. We don't really call them disorders in the brain spotting world because they're a result of trauma. So they maybe have developed narcissistic tendencies, borderline tendencies. So in that case, sometimes we have to take a break from a relationship, but by and large, there are ways to work through relationships because people want to grow. And if they love you, they want to understand you and create a new way of being. So another person I really like reading her posts is Julia Caldwell, has a lot of information online, and I'll put both of those names down in the description. But she says there are 3 things no one can argue with: your body sensations, your emotions, and what you want. Body sensations are simple things like, are you thirsty? Is your stomach in a knot? Do you feel an open flow of energy passing through your body? So if you're suddenly like, I have a knot in my stomach, I realize I need to take a break. The body really helps us to know what we need. So initially, you're going to find it's really difficult, almost impossible to slow down your thoughts and your brain enough to check in with yourself, in moments when you're feeling activated, in conflict. So, the survival brain urges you to escape or lash out. However, with awareness, willingness, and practice, you can learn to be with what's coming up. So people might balk at your new boundaries, especially if you're holding them. Because if you don't hold boundaries, and I'm going to talk about this in a different video, but it's like you're training a dog. If you give him food at the table, right, and then you want to stop, you don't want to do that anymore. It's going to take a long time for that behavior to become extinct and for them not to beg at the table. But if you don't do it 10 times and then you do it once, oh my gosh, it's almost impossible to get the dog to stop begging. So it's the same thing. If you draw a boundary but you don't really hold to it, people know that you don't really mean it about your boundaries. And that's just a trauma thing, And so anyway, but if you start holding to those boundaries and if you start asking for what you need and setting the terms around what works for you in communication, people will honor that. They'll start to honor it. So anyway, that's a little bit about being conflict avoidant and how you can start to make a shift in order to repair, to find resolution in relationship, to have better relationships, to create those. So I'm wishing you serenity, freedom, and joy in your relationships and life. Take good care.